And the purpose is networking, profession, and gather more respect for lawyers and for the lawyers to make more money. And I think the lawyers need to play a big role if India is to become a first world nation by 2047. As I always say, we got political freedom in 1947, economic freedom in 91. The next revolution must come from lawyers. We are the ones that the Article 19 restraint of trade is highest on trade in the country. We can't advertise, we can't have a booth at a conference, we can't teach, we can't have a website without disclaimers, we can't work on a contingency success fee basis. I think the developed nation would be third world nations today if success fee lawyers were not allowed. In the developed world, 1 billion people wake up every morning, whatever is going wrong in their life, they have a spanner in their hand and they tighten the screws as they walk every day, all day long. Go to a success fee lawyer, and the success fee lawyer takes up the matter and fixes whatever needs to be fixed, and they share the outcome, the proceeds. So these 1 billion people have the power to fix the loose screws of the society, which obviously exist in every society, but they have the power. The purpose of law is to protect the powerless and the poor from the rich and the powerful and the government. And the only way the poor have access to justice is through success fee lawyers and information. And unfortunately, both of them have been banned in India. Can't advertise, can't let the poor know what their rights are, and can't work on a success fee basis. We cannot become a first world nation if 1.4 billion people of India don't have access to justice. Who's going to fight? Who's going to say anything to the government? Who's going to say anything to the Bar Council? Uh, Only we can. And if we don't have an industry body, and if we're not together, then who's going to talk? Who's going to raise the voice? Who's going to represent us? So that's a 35-second commercial on ILA. Let's talk about today's topic. Very, very uh, dangerous topic. What's going to happen to the world? Um, and hopefully, there will be some noise and there will be some distortion and there will be some people that'll get hurt, but hopefully, in the long run, we'll come out ahead. Can I ask each one of you for a 1-minute introduction, starting with reverse alphabetical order? Vandana?
Hey, thank you. Thanks, Navneet Shanti, for the invite to this esteemed panel. And Swati, Satyam, Ambuj, I'm really delighted to be a part of panel with having esteemed people like you. And all my colleagues here, thank you for being here, and let's have a good discussion here. So I am a company secretary and a lawyer. I have been working with different sectors in infrastructure, core infrastructure enterprises, and right now I have been working in a data and AI company for the past 14 years. I take care of whom was just coming in. So I was able to see some of the policies being implemented quite closely. And now when I am in the IT sector, so to say, again, I have been seeing the entire spectrum, all the ups and downs in past 2 decades, around 2 decades, and um, also given that usually IT companies have a global presence, lucky enough to see the paradigm shift right from the Asia Pacific countries to how it happens in North America. So it has been a wonderful journey so far, and I would great to hear the stories from other participants also. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vandana. So who do we go to? Swati?
Yes, thank you so much, Navneet, and thank you, Aile, for having me on this panel. And it's a great honor to be with all my co-panelists, Satyam, Vandana, Ambuj. I am currently a partner at Shardul Amarchand. My subject area is TMT, technology law, basically. I am a disputes lawyer. I've been, a litigator for 18 years. Given today's topic, I would just like to say that I've been, a part of this entire digital growth because as a kid, I saw that era when computers just came in. Then, when I started, practicing in 2008, I started from Bombay. Then had the fortune of, going back home. That's Calcutta. Practiced there for about 8 years, and then, I have also worked with a tech company, Amazon, for 5 years. I was heading litigation for them, and that's when I really picked up tech law, and I specialized in tech law, which actually has got me to SAM 4 years ago. So I have been pretty much lucky to see how technology has shaped the legal profession. I've seen the time when we were very young associates, we would have to carry, our AIRs and SEC books to the court, and we would have to, there used to be so much of stress because we would have to have multiple copies. We would have to ensure that the judges have their copies. And then we graduated and saw that Manupatra and SEC have come in. Then Manupatra was not acceptable everywhere. Then SEC only, and in those days, only law firms, big law firms were able to afford. Not everyone could get subscriptions of SEC. Then slowly that era passed and SEC also became cost effective. And then I'm sure, some of my co-panelists, it took us time because we have learned researching, reading books, and then suddenly moving on to these, with nowadays the kids will just Google and find out, judgments. We find it so weird. It's like, have you even read it? Have you? They have no concept probably of how to find judgments through reading commentaries. There will be people who will say, "What do you mean by commentaries?" We directly go to SCC online and check judgments. But so I think it's been a very exciting era, and today's topic indeed is something which, when you say that will AI democratize the legal profession, the answer probably we'll discuss when we go to the questions. But I think yes, the while people are very worried that what's going to happen when lawyers get replaced, I strongly feel that no, lawyers can never get replaced because with the limited use of AI and tech that's being done in today's world, we still see that ultimately the human brain is very important, and I firmly believe that AI is like a young lawyer or a trainee out of law school. It's about the way you mentor them. If you mentor them well, they will turn out to be really good. But if you're not mentoring them that well, then what you will come out with is a product which the courts will say are all plagiarized or are fake. But yes, so I think it's a great topic today, and thank you. And that's about me, and I'd like to hear from my other co-panelists.
So, Swati, of the couple of million lawyers in the country, 600,000 have fake law degrees, right?
Yeah, that's
According
what.
to the Bar Council of India.
Yes.
So maybe this AI solves that problem for those 600,000? Um, okay. Um, Satyam.
So, good morning, everyone. Really grateful and indebted to Navneet ji, to Shanti ji, Ambudh ji, Swati ji, and Vandana ji for having me here and wishing everyone a wonderful session for today. My name is Satyam Tandon. I have my practice in Chandigarh. I practice at the High Court over here of Punjab and Haryana. And apart from that, I also practice at the tribunals of Chandigarh. So on my private side of my practice, I majorly deal with writ petitions and civil revisions, regular second appeals. Like Navneet sir mentioned something in respect of advertising guidelines. So have had some experience with PILs in that respect as well. some service matters, criminal miscellaneous matters, IP matters, arbitration, check bouncing. There was this really funny instance, and since we're talking about AI, I wanted to share this right off the bat with you all. So recently there was this client of mine, and he popped into my office, and he had made a petition through ChatGPT, showed it to me, and it was a petition under the Maintenance of Senior Citizens Act. So he had taken very flamboyant arguments like applicability of the act and whether or not this promissory estoppel would apply. Eventually, when we went through the matter, what ended up happening is that we created a factual narration, and sequentially we denoted the facts of the case. And the argument that we gave was completely different. Was not in his brief. We got a good order. Was able to do well in his matter, and ultimately the citations given, they were wrong. Ultimately the arguments given, they were inapplicable. But at the end of the day, just to supplement what Swati ma'am was saying, that ultimately these things are there to supplement us, not supplant us. So I feel that is the same area and thought process that even I come from, that these things are like a junior that you mentor with good prompts, with good input given to the respective AI. It can really help, but it can never dismantle you, or it's not going to be a world where it's lawyers versus AI. So apart from that, I have my private panel side of the practice as well. I do a lot of work for the
Hired or quit and applied to become a lawyer, and that's when the bar council found out he had never gone to law school. And then the judge hired a lawyer, and the best
practice as well. I
quote
do a
I've
lot of
ever
work
read in my
for the
life
hired or
is in this article. And the fake judge's lawyer says, "This is so unfair. How can you say that somebody who was a judge for 21 years is not a lawyer?" Wonder what happened to this guy. But now with AI, I think that sentence, his quotation finally has some weight. Um, so we have Vandana from Nagpur and Satyam from Chandigarh and Swati from Delhi and Ambuj from Mumbai. Perfect panel. Go ahead, Ambuj.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, ILA, for inviting me on this panel. Thank you, Mr. Chugh. Very nice meeting you, Swati, Vanna, and Satyam. We are looking for a fantastic session here. This topic on AI tech and the legal services going forward is a very hot topic, and we have been discussing day in day out with my clients, because my practice area is primarily the advisory in the tech areas, and we are going to there is a lot of clients where we go and we present that how AI is gonna work in your systems and what is AI basically. So technically, whenever I meet a client, the first thing which I explain AI to be is that AI is like a tornado. It is very fast, it is very powerful, but at the same time, it is very complex and extremely uncertain. So I'm really looking forward to discuss all those points here. And I think there will be an opportunity to have everyone's opinions. And we are looking forward to have as many questions as we can, and just have an interactive session here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Shanti tells me our session will be on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. So uh, that's good. People will hear your thoughts for days to come. So let's start with you, Vandana.
Yeah.
What's going to happen with AI and law? And will people get more justice? Will 70 million pending cases, will that number reduce drastically? And before you answer that, let's introduce and welcome CJ. CJ is president of Indian Lawyers Association Mumbai chapter. Ambuj, I hope you are on the board or will join the board. CJ, go ahead. 1 minute introduction of yourself. Mute. Unmute yourself, CJ.
Yes, am I audible now?
Yes.
First of all, I would like to tender apologies for two reasons. One, for being so elusive during the first few months of this year, and secondly, for joining in late. I joined in just 3 minutes ago, but unfortunately, I think nobody was able to see me. So I'm into 20 years of practice now. My basically my I'm the thing. The main high court is Bombay High Court, but I have had occasion to appear in many different high courts in India, and I'm a frequent visitor to the Supreme Court as well. And I have handled all kind of matters because beggars have they can't choose. So I began as a without any mentor. I have had good relationships with a few seniors, but my practice I began on my by myself, and during my practice days I got opportunity to teach also in a few law colleges, and ultimately I was teaching in MIT Law School. Then I have taught in the ICE as this Company Secretaries Institute of Western India, and I feel that AI is not a newly introduced concept. AI has been there for centuries, and it's only now with the electronic innovations that we have AI to be used in professional pursuits also. The one of the most ancient forms of AI is, I feel, how they used to employ scarecrows in the farms and fields to scare away the crows and other pests. That's also an instance of AI, and several other things we already had as AI. As far as legal profession is concerned, I think the judiciary has been shying away from scientific innovations, and it took some time for the judiciary to actually start relying upon electronic evidence. Although recording and playing devices were there for more than a century, and it's only now that the Indian judiciary has agreed to video shoot or to telecast the hearings and etc. And I remember that even when during COVID, it was proposed that online hearings should be there. A large number of lawyers had protested, saying that how can you conduct court hearings with video camera and all. I have conducted trial also with the camera. And in Maharashtra, I think for the first time, it was in Nagpur bench of Bombay High Court where a video camera was used during hearing, and I had the opportunity to appear in that session. And it was only for my matter that a video camera was ordered, and 7 video cameras were positioned to record that matter. As far as the question raised here in the NLC for today's discussion, ILA discussion is concerned, whether AI can be used to make the process more democratic, to make it more transparent, etc. I think the question, lies in the will of the people who are manning it. Otherwise, artificial intelligence is so scary. It can be very transparent also. At the same time, it can be used for doing all kind of unwanted things also. Like Mr. Chug asked whether the AI will prevent fake lawyers from appearing in court. I feel that AI will enable more fake lawyers to appear in court. They will create. I can create the computerized image of Mr. Chug and conduct a parallel such program on another device with my other people. They will think that they will be confused who is the real Chug. So these propensities AI has, and that's a big risk. And today we see there are many people are coming forward to register their personality rights and all. that's there. And I think it all depends on the will. If the all the stakeholders willingly are supportive to introduce AI, not only to introduce, to make it the main performer, then it can achieve what we desire. But since the AI has a tendency of being so transparent, people who want to really indulge into corruption, they will not allow AI to be, to be given the first place, the first preference. If you place AI, you can't take bribes so easily. So I think it will take a long time for AI to replace the human.
CJ, you're still doing a lot of criminal work,
Yes,
are you?
criminal and civil
Okay.
go
I'll
together.
I'll come back to you with AI
Yes,
and criminal work because I think
yes.
one of the areas where AI is going to make a huge difference is in the criminal law. But let's go to Vandana.
At the people, XYZ comes with their own level of investigation or analysis and come to us. That happens a lot, and not just with people, but also with CEOs and CXO. We have seen the same thing. But at the same time, AI is also like an intern who is highly capable, highly intelligent, but needs a proper level of training and orientation so that the intern can really get up to his true potential. So even when people are using it, if the kind of analysis that they do that is appropriate, it will be helpful. And at the same time, there is also a level of people who do not have uh, reach or kind of assistance that they need in their particular approach. Now we know that legal is highly English. Of course, native languages are there, but the law per se is very much English oriented. How many people have exposure to that kind of English, the complex English? It's very less. That level of people can really use AI to their advantage so that they have the basic understanding of their rights and liabilities and what all things are at their disposal for different cases or incidents or in general also. Next to the professionals, again, we are at a much better place location right now. It's not just AI, but also various technologies which are there at our disposal. The contract lifecycle management systems, the various compliance reporting systems, various risk tracking systems. These are very much of use when we talk about the professionals and how they can leverage on AI. Besides what all things are available through Manupatra and LexisNexis and the likes of it. So that's the second level. And at the judiciary, I am still a bit skeptical upon the use of AI, given that the servers of the AI that we see right now, those are all the Azures and AWS and the Googles of the world. They are all outside of India. Now, why UPI was so much better implemented was because RBI mandated that all the servers have to be in India, be on-prem or be on cloud. So that helped a lot in terms of governance and maintaining the security aspect. In judiciary, it goes a different level if the servers are outside of India. So for judiciary, in my view, up to a certain level, it is fine, but really making it democratized and pushed by law, the use of AI, we are far from it right now. That's my take on this point, Navneet.
Thank you. Thank you. So, Swati, I think the countries that use AI to deliver faster, cheaper, fairer justice will dominate the 21st century. The countries that don't use AI will remain trapped in delay, inefficiency, corruption, inequality. The question for India and you is, will we lead this revolution, Swati, or are we going to watch it happen from the sidelines?
So, thank you. And I think it's a very, very relevant question in today's time. Also, I really like the way Vandana has, put the use of AI into three buckets. And that's exactly the way how India is looking at it currently. I think, we will be one of the forerunners of adoption of AI because India, in general, because the kind of population, the youth, and the brains that India has, I think we have historically, in the last um, at least 20 years, been one of the fastest moving nations in adoption of new technologies. Like CJ was very rightly mentioning that, COVID was a phase which nobody ever thought of, and unheard of a situation in India where people actually will adopt to work from home. Secondly, judiciary functioning virtually was something we could never think of. And before that, of course, courts were trying to go paperless. They were trying to adopt e-filing, etc. But it was only in very few pockets. I think Delhi was one of the very fastest moving jurisdictions where courts really adopted to e-filing. Supreme Court was moving quite fast. Other courts, were moving, but physical filing was still very, very important, and they would not accept filing which was not physical. But COVID changed the entire landscape, and we saw how quickly the legal fraternity adapted to it, including the judiciary, the lawyers, and the litigants, because of course nothing could stop. In fact, some statistics show that COVID has boomed the business of lawyers. Has The judiciary has passed some very important judgments, and overall, the Indian economy did not stop, because at that point I was at Amazon, and I could see that the way the company was pushing to ensure that there is no stoppage of business was incredible. And trust me, staying at home virtually, we were literally reaching out to 600 districts, because operations are all over, to ensure that passes are available. There are orders that are procured from administrative authorities. Business is not stopped. If notices are coming, quickly respond to them, because you can't stop supply of essential commodities. Now, having said that, I think why I feel that India is going to be one of the forerunners of adoption of AI, and we are not going to see from the sideline, is because despite we still not having a law for AI, we have still through judicial revelation, through a lot of the ministry, the MeitY also suggesting amendments to the existing IT rules, IT Act, is really recognizing that how, while AI is helpful, can also cause damage. They are trying to regulate that space as well. The judiciary is taking very, very key interest in how AI is also creating a lot of disruption in the world, for public at large, and they are passing orders which are quite thought through, and not just brushing it under the carpet. I also feel that law firms, like initially it was only foreign law firms who were partnering with most of these AI companies like Anthropic, etc., and trying to develop their own internal AI tools to ensure that workflows are automated. But I think in India now, it has rapidly increased. I think most of the big law firms, including Shardul Amachan, have tied up with AI companies like Harvey or Lucio, which is Indian. Which is an Indian company. I think young lawyers are real young, meaning right out of college. Lawyers have been applying their mind and creating these AI tools, which not only help to review documents, but also help in things like legal research, due diligence, contract review. Of course, having said with the caveat that they need to be reviewed, they need to be signed off by senior people before it goes out. The judiciary at the same time, when we talk about the Supreme Court, I think Supreme Court has really pushed the entire judiciary as a whole to start adopting AI as a model, because they are trying to ensure that people at large are able to get their orders, read their orders. So there is a tool which they have come up with, which is called the Supreme Court translated about 36,000 Supreme Court orders into Hindi and 18 other regional languages. So earlier, if a litigant who can't afford a translator would get an order, would have no option but to go to a translator and get it translated. But now the Supreme Court itself, free of cost, is providing them a software which can very easily sort of translate their
Swati,
orders. Second,
Swati, what's your personal favorite out of the 6 LLMs?
my favorite currently is, we are working a lot with Harvey. I think Harvey is doing a good job. Having said that, we of course do very, very carefully monitor it, but it really helps you save a lot of time and gives you a good gist of anything that's come to you immediately. You can quickly look at it and get a gist of what's happening. So I
And
think
for
it also helps.
people who don't have money for Harvey, which one of
No,
the
I think they
six?
can. So I think it's not. I mean, I've been fortunate that the firm has provided us Harvey, but I think otherwise, although people criticize ChatGPT a lot, but I don't think it's bad. Of course, that it was one of the first. It is improving, but I think uh, AI overall helps you a lot to cut down on turnaround time. It really helps you efficiently turn things around very quickly, because earlier, when a client would come to you, you would sit with him, his documents would come, you would take at least 2 days to go through it and make your points. Now, at least you know that what he's giving you, you get broad points of what the summary is, and then you can go to the relevant documents and actually see what contracts you need to see, which clauses you need to see. But overall, to immediately get on a call with the client or to give a preliminary view, it becomes much easier, is my sense at least.
Good. Satyam. So now all the, I mean, if I go to people say, oh, India is doing so good, so great, and then I say to them, yes, it is. But if you go outside the top 15 cities, the big cities of India, it's a different country. Um, Ambuj probably and CJ probably know the answer to this question, and I'm sure Vandana does. But do you guys know where Pimpri Chichwadi is? What is it called? Pimpri what?
Pimpri
Yeah.
Pimpari
Chinchwad, yes,
Chinchwad.
yes.
Yeah,
Pimpari Chinchwad.
right. And so my favorite thing is to ask people where is that in India, and most people don't know where that is. I mean, if you're in Mumbai or Maharashtra, maybe you do. Most people, it's shocking, they don't know where Pimpri Chinchwad is. And I tell them it's the 17th largest city in India. And
This I was not knowing.
99% of India is not heard of it or whatever. But anyways, so with AI, now we have the small town lawyers can benefit, and now they have the big firm capability. So Satyam, can AI now create a great equalizer in India by allowing one smart lawyer like you in Chandigarh compete with all the large Delhi and Mumbai firms?
Thank you. Very relevant question, and let's try to unpack this. The question in my mind supposes that there are issues within the legal system. There are long delays, there are adjournments, a lot of procedures that are difficult to deal with. The cost of litigation is high, there is lack of transparency. So the argument is that the delays, they end up benefiting the system and they benefit the other parts of the system. Whereas I feel that if AI comes in, legal tech will certainly simplify, will 110% simplify drafting, will simplify research and filing, and certainly it will become very helpful for people like me to be able to, let's say, compete with a large scale firm, so to say. Now, recently I had this matter, which was a check bouncing matter. Now, in this case, we had 14 different checks, 14 different dates of the check bounce, 14 different bank return memos, and 14 different plaints that were ought to be filed. Now, if I go back to pre-AI times, if I sat down with my brief and if I try to skull out the relevant details, minimum, like if I work on a maniac level, minimum I would have taken maybe 2 to 3 days to make the 14 plaints. I made one plaint. I made one plaint with my understanding, with my bank return memos, with my understanding of the entire process. After that, I put the relevant PDFs in my AI and I was able to make 14 plaints in half an hour. Now that when things are large scale, so there was this video I was seeing. This fellow, he delineates the two processes. He says, as a lawyer, what is your favorite thing? Your favorite thing is argumentation. Your favorite thing is, drafting, or let's say procurement, because you meet so many different kind of people. So on that level, that is your level of obsession. And things that are clerical in nature, things that you don't want your headspace to go in. Those are the things that you ought to delegate to AI, because you're not meant for that. You are not meant to be in that space that all the time I am going through a Jamabandi which is of 1947 and I am trying to figure out, acha, ye khatoni hai, ye khewat hai. I don't want to do that. So for me to be able to come on that level, for me to be able to bridge that gap, 110%. But like I started earlier as well, I said that this cannot substitute me. It can be there to help. When I made those 14 planes, I made sure that the check numbers are correct. I made sure that the bank return memo dates, they are correct. Because at the same time, you will not get a more confident associate than AI. AI will tell you that, okay, this is the law, this is how you're supposed to apply it, and there is nothing else in the world that can defeat your argument. Whereas at the same time, if you ask it, okay, now the brief has been returned and I'm on for the other side, it will give you a completely different line of argumentation. It will tell you, no, no, the other case is the worst. Don't worry, we have it sorted. We will tell you how to go about this. It is so confident that you have to test it with the same yardstick, and that is your job. That is your job as the lawyer advising your client, because ultimately that onus vests with you. Let's take a different example. Today, I mean, there's this really funny meme, and I feel that memes are really relatable in our day and age. And to convey a point, I feel sometimes when we use that, it really drives home the point. So this fellow, he shares his screen on a similar conference like this, and he asks ChatGPT that I will take 2 minutes to walk to the car wash, and I will take 7 minutes to drive to the car wash because it is a very congested area. How do you think I should go? Should I drive there or should I walk there? The ChatGPT says, go walk, because it's just 2 minutes. You'll reach there and you can get your car washed. And that begs the question that how am I going to get my car washed without my car? Damn it, I need my car to get my car washed, right? So now it is a very small, it's a small meme, right? For us to, but the point that I'm trying to convey is very significant, that you have to go to the fine print. Presentation, beautification, amazing bookman sans, font 14, 1.5 line spacing, margin 4, margin 3, left, right, all that can be done. But that is because you can delegate that. I don't want to delegate my argumentation. I don't want to delegate my research. Yes, when a client comes in, I am able to bridge that gap within 2 minutes. I can have 20 things ready and everything. But at the same time, I will not delegate what I obsess over. What I obsess over is what I argue. What I obsess over is the things that I can never afford to delegate to AI, so to say. I mean, I come from a generation that we saw Avengers and we loved Avengers. I saw all the 20 movies and it culminated in the Age of Ultron. Age of Ultron was basically, let's extrapolate AI and we take it to the nth level. And AI is prevalent in all mechanisms, in all computers and everywhere. And basically it ends up deciding that humans are the people who create conflicts. These conflict leads to wars. These wars lead to mayhem. This mayhem leads to fatalities. These fatalities lead to absolute genocide, right? And what is the answer? That eradicate. So I don't want to be part of that world. So I mean, I'm exaggerating for effect, but the point I'm trying to convey is that it can again supplement, but never supplant, never substitute. Very helpful, very good, but at the end of the day, helpful, not substitutive.
Thank you, Satyam.
I want to take a minute here, just adding to what Satyam so beautifully mentioned. While I was researching about AI, beside hallucination, there is a concept called confabulation, which happens with AI. It is when I'm saying something with utmost honesty, but there are lies and distorted facts within it, which happens with AI all the time. So AI also doesn't know whether he's telling lie or what. Yeah, thank you.
If I
So
can just
much,
add on,
so much.
sorry,
Yes, Satyam.
sorry. Yeah, sorry. So I just wanted to add on what Vandana ma'am said. So when the way the AI works a context of bundle. So I was doing this recently. We had to interpret the section of or of a relevant act said a brief, a concise statement of the facts of the respective plaint. Right now, we were supposed to interpret the word concise. It searches synonyms, and when
Yeah.
synonyms are searched, they end up distorting the meaning. And therefore, you will never be replaced. Therefore, you need to be there to be able to delineate that and take what you want from that. Yes, sir.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry,
Same
I
Sat-
had
prompt
to.
gives different
Yeah,
answers and different point of time. Same prompt.
So
absolutely.
Yeah,
my
please go on.
sometimes
Continue
my
on.
employees say that why are
That's
you
good. That's absolutely
propagating
good.
AI so much? It makes mistake 10% of the time. And I'm like, okay, I'll take that any day because my employees make mistakes 20% of the time. So,
Yeah,
Ambuj, what's going to happen to large law firms? Because for about 100 years, large law firms have relied on armies of associates, billable hours, massive research teams to generate revenue. Now, if AI can perform legal research, drafting due diligence, contract review in minutes instead of days, are large law firms facing the biggest disruption in legal history? And do you think AI is going to hurt large firms more than small firms and solo practitioners?
Very, very relevant question, Mr. Chug. I think Vanna, Swati, and Satyam already touched upon that how to categorize what work a AI in a law firm can do. So I would put the work wise, I would put there are two categories. One is obviously the core advisory, which we do, and one would be the ancillary work, which generally is delegated to the junior resource or an intern or something like that. Now, when we talk about law firms, even whether it's large or whether it's small, but ultimately the lawyers are going to provide the same services. For large law firms, it becomes very relevant to become AI native, to implement the For AI large law tools, firms, it becomes because very it saves relevant. time. It definitely increases the productivity. Now, if I talk about the business of the law firms generally, whether it's mid size, whether it's bigger size, they would obviously want more and more clients added every year to their portfolio because that's the revenue generating machine for them. That's the idea, that's the agenda. Now, with AI helping you in your ancillary work, definitely you are going to save some time. And if I spend, suppose, 5 hours on a client in a day and another 5 hours on second client, probably I can take up 4 clients instead of 2 in a particular day. So for revenue generation, whether AI will have an impact, definitely yes. Does law firms, whether small or large, do they need to be AI native? The answer would be yes. Now, whether I'm concerned about the billable hours, that question is very subjective. It also depends on the client, but most likely it is not going to create any difference in what we are doing today. Because if I talk about the billable works or where I can charge on hourly basis, the clients would not generally pay for the ancillary work which you delegate to the AI tool. It will never pay you for a case law research. It will never pay you for proofreading of a draft. It will always pay you for the client counseling, which is the research. which an AI tool cannot do, because it's a human tendency. We talk to a lot of customer care operations which has AI bots, and then they ask, "Are you satisfied with the answers?" We always say, "No, we want to talk to some human." And that's why the principles of legal services, most important is the attorney-client privilege. If we talk about, when there is a privileged conversation which is happening, the communication which the client communicates to their advisor, it is extremely confidential. It is extremely privileged. The client will never have that conversation with an AI. There has to be a lawyer sitting on the board and answering the question, his views, and his strategy for the interest of the client. So AI technically is not undertaking the work for which the client is paying the bills on hourly basis. So I don't think the billable hours is a concern, or maybe the monopoly is a concern. I think what we have seen in large law firms, and I think the other co-panelists will also agree to it, when you implement AI as an institute or as a law firm, we are talking about the Lucio, we are talking about Harvey, we are talking about the new one, which is, I think, August AI is also coming into picture. So there are different tools which are coming in now because of the multiple options. The price war is there, so it is affordable even for smaller firms. Now, when we talk about implementation of the AI, definitely the law firms are analyzing the risk first. Is the client attorney-client privilege communication protected? Can I feed into the AI tool? Whether the confidentiality will be breached? Am I acting with all my ethical requirements as per the BCI regulations? So these are the questions which are answered before you select the relevant AI tool and implement it, rather than whether this tool can generate me a product which I can sell and which I can charge for without any human intervention, or without any intervention of a partner or a lawyer or a senior resource. That's the secondary question, but primary is always the ethical questions. Yes, Swati, I think.
Yeah, no, I think
So,
you finished. I just want to add, supplement to what Ambuj has so beautifully summed up. So I, in fact, feel the other way around. I think AI will help increase efficiency in a law firm. It will ensure that dead hours are cut out. And, because we have been seeing clients in the last 10 years at least are very, very aware of how billing is done. They concentrate very much, and they will, like he very rightly mentioned, will in any event not pay for research, in any event not pay for admin work as we put them in. I personally have seen that juniors and associates at every level, including partners, are very much on their toes. They want to use AI efficiently, and they want to cut dead hours, increase efficiency of associates also. Apart from that, I think clients also are asking that, where is it that you can help us use AI and reduce our redundant processes?
Correct.
So,
Correct.
if used properly, the entire process can really be built well, and it is very, very helpful. But again, again comes back to the same thing, that some human brain has to apply the use or set up the process, then it can actually be as good as a very, very smart junior in the team.
so
Thank you,
Swati,
Swati. Thank you for the
when you give
input.
work to some junior lawyer and they produce work from
Mm.
AI and give it to you, and it's clear that it's AI generated, what do you say to them?
So I will tell them that did you use AI? And I would expect them to say, of course, usually nowadays they do not lie, but what happens is, we have seen there are at some interviews, when you've interviewed a candidate, and we usually make them go through written tests. Some of them who's used AI don't last too long, because when you sit with a draft with them and you are running through it, when you ask them background or reasons why they've taken an argument, if they have applied their mind along with using AI, they are able to answer. But if they have just not and just gotten a draft out of a Claude or a Chat GPT, they are numb. They do not know what arguments, follow ups, or suppose if they've quoted a judgment, and if you tell him that, okay, what are the follow ups? Did the Supreme Court, is it still pending? Is it disposed of? They will not have answers. But when we were younger, if we would take a draft to a senior person, we would check all of this because we knew these questions will automatically fall from there and we will have to answer. So I think it's exactly the way you question them, automatically they will answer. If they've used AI and the draft is bad, which means they've not applied their mind. So long as they've applied their mind and used AI, I'm fine with it.
It's
You're
high
making me
time.
change. Yeah, go
Sorry,
ahead.
it's
Go ahead,
high
Vandana.
time to have no AI drills nowadays. That the entire day, don't use AI. Don't use AI. Use your brains. Create the drafts. Do the research and things like that. Maybe that will keep everyone on toes.
Yeah, and in
Yeah.
fact, to be very frank, what we have seen nowadays in some multinational companies, when we submit our global proposals, uh, there are specific conditions put in by a lot of MNCs that law firms will not use any AI tool for the
Correct.
delivery of the services. And that's why it is very important that how you are engaging with the client and how the client is treating their information which they supply to you and how you
Yeah.
need to protect it. So I think these are the questions
If
which
they've
are
used
considered by the law
AI and
firms
the draft is bad, which
before
means they've not applied
implementation
their
of the
mind.
AI tool.
So long as they've applied their mind and
Ethics,
used AI,
compliance,
I'm fine with it.
confidentiality are the primary objective of those discussions before implementation of the AI, whether it is absolutely necessary. That is the question. Do you actually need AI for
For
this
the
kind of work?
entire
For advisory, no, it is not required because it can't replace a
and
lawyer.
things
As
like
Swati
that.
mentioned, that if
Maybe
a
that will keep
junior
everyone
resource
on
comes
toes.
up with a draft which is generated by AI, that is the output. But the junior resource, what input he has, in some multinational companies, when we submit our global proposals, uh, if you write specific conditions put in by a lot of MNCs which cannot be that law enforceable firms or will the not object is use any illegal, AI tool but if you put the for input the
Correct.
saying that delivery of the okay, services contracts having object opposed to the public policy of India, which is the language that judgments use, the judges use, you'll have a better output. So how much prepared the resource is before providing the input, that is also important, and that comes from the traditional training and not the AI bit. By reading commentaries, by reading judgments, that's how we were trained, as Swati mentioned, and we should be training, mentoring them. I completely
Mm.
agree with Swati on that front.
All these MNCs are producing AI tools and producing AI and using AI, but they don't want their lawyers to use it. So, CJ, many years ago, I get a call at 10 o'clock at night saying, "Hey, my brother is in jail and he has an appearance tomorrow morning in San Francisco at 8:30 a.m. Can you go?" And I said, "I don't do criminal law. I wouldn't know what to do." He says, "No, no, no, please go." I said, "But I've never done anything." He says, "Don't worry about it. He'll tell you what to do." So I said, "Okay, he'll tell me what to do. Fine." So I got up in the morning, took a flight, reached the airport, and went to the court. And seven, eight criminals, all chained together in orange suits, came and sat where the jury sits, and I could recognize one Indian. So I saw other lawyers get up and go talk to their clients. So I also got up and I said, "Hey, Ashok, how are you doing? Your brother sent me." He says, "Oh, okay." I said, "But I don't know what I'm doing." So he said, "You'll tell me." So he told me what to do. And then I realized that all the jails have a law library, right? And all of the criminals are alleged criminals are criminal lawyers because that's all they do all day long. Ask their friends, "Hey, how are you getting out? What lawyer do you have? What did you do? You were here for 3 years. How come you're leaving tomorrow? What did you file? What's his name? What papers did you file?" Or then they go to the law library, he shows them, and they all day long sit there and do their own petitions in court that the jail's not treating me well. I'm vegetarian. I need vegetarian food and this and that. And now these alleged criminals are going to have access to LLMs and AI. So what's going to happen, CJ, now with millions of pending criminal cases and under trial prisoners waiting for justice? Now AI can analyze evidence, detect inconsistencies, assist the lawyers and the judges and the alleged criminals. So you think it's going to make a
One
big
must
difference in the criminal world?
one must not forget that the full form of AI is artificial intelligence. So before you start using AI, you should have a great reservoir of natural intelligence. Before you gather that, if you start relying on artificial intelligence, it will lead to a great amount of disaster. This is the foundation on which I'm going to speak further. As far as criminal courts in India are concerned, they have to rely much on what the investigating officer or the prosecuting team has gathered and placed before record. The methodology of gathering the information while investigating or investigation is very, very questionable. Even where there are cameras which capture the entire scenario, those cameras are also edited. And many a times before the investigation begins, I have seen instances where the investigating officer gets instruction to switch off the camera before proceeding to go on investigation. The reason for this is due to the bribery and political influence, this, that, many things. And in the jails, you will find that more than actual criminals, means the persons who have actually committed, there are more innocent people in the jail, in Indian jails, who are as you rightly said, that the criminals already know have great access to books and AI tools. An average criminal who does his job in a very proper manner, professional manner, he knows how to come out of it. So before he ventures to do a criminal act, he does a lot of homework and he makes all stakeholders aware of what he's going to do. That means the police knows when a crime takes place in his jurisdiction, there are only very rare occasions where the territorial police is actually shocked or surprised as to how this happened. They know before the court for cross-examining the witnesses, to cross-examining the prosecution, the police witnesses, everybody. As a criminal lawyer, I feel that the charge sheet which the police files, they are not very easily readable unless you put in 15 years of practice reading these charge sheets. These are written with very bad handwriting and very bad grammar also, many a times. Of course, bad grammar I should not curse, because I often take advantage of that when they write the papers, investigation papers. I think that there should be some device, an AI device, where I can simply put the charge sheet, the thick charge sheet, and immediately the AI device should tell me these are the prosecution points and and these are the likely defenses. If such a system is evolved, then that will be of some use to an average criminal lawyer like me. Average means I'm still in my struggling phase. So to see a real impact of AI happening in the judiciary, there should be a very fair will to get the AI executed. When Kasab was arrested after the great mayhem they had caused in Mumbai, the topmost criminal lawyer of the country, the late Mr. Ram Jethmalani, had said that Kasab's is a watertight case. Everything has been captured on the TV, on CCTV camera. Still, the state of Maharashtra had to spend crores and crores to appoint a public prosecutor. I'm not taking his name. And to appoint Indo-Tibetan border police to guard the prisoner and run the trial. The expense to hang Kasab was much more than the damage actually was caused by his intrusion in Mumbai. So why this we had to do, even though if the case was so watertight, because we still can't trust what our what the keepers of our system are interested to keep. Video camera footage might get deleted any moment. AI can be reverse engineered. You program it towards one direction, and tomorrow a computer wizard come defense lawyer will come and give some opposite instruction to the AI device, or he can bring a superior AI device and show that the government AI device is a failure. So all these things are there. So what is required? AI has its limitations. Although AI tends to stunt the natural inborn talent, what made Navdeep Chuk to this level, your followers may not reach till this level because they have the AI and their brain, their thinking capacity is crippled. They can't think beyond a level. So if you introduce AI to young democracies like India, where half of the population is still uneducated, then it's going to be counterproductive. So before you rely on something like AI, you should have a great deal of investment on natural intelligence as well as on morality. You should have strong morals to use science so freely, to entrust science to unsafe hands. Anybody
Okay.
can manage AI.
All right. Let's take
Ultimately, it's a
rapid
bundle
fire.
of data which anybody.
Our audience questions for the
Can
time
I
we have
add to
left.
that? Can
Yes.
I add to that?
Yes, please.
Y- Yes. CJ sir, just stemming from what you said, I think very nicely mentioned that Navneet sir, where you have reached at this stage of your career in our legal industry, because the judgment departed from the existing patterns and following them. AI is great at identifying patterns, but sometimes justice and fairness, it demands that you actually break those patterns. Speed, if speed alone and efficiency is the alone thing, what is the reason for cross examination? What is the requirement of evidence? What is the requirement of review and appeals? The system, in my opinion, is made in that kind of a way that it ensures fairness over efficiency. Because when you prioritize fairness over efficiency, sometimes mediation comes in and both parties go home happy. Sometimes, because the process is made in that kind of a way, it is a bit tedious for the common man to, get into and follow through. And the entire debate about fast versus correct, about fair versus inefficient comes into play. And I think very nicely pointed out by CJ sir that these consequences of these decisions, they extend far beyond the parties. The outcomes of this process is the legitimacy. It depends on the depth of the process, not simply what you have put in. No patterns, because patterns are data. But sometimes we don't need data. Sometimes we need human wisdom. Sometimes we need to be wise in order to ensure justice is done, rather than going back to the book reading,
Okay,
so to
let's
say.
see. Wonderful, Satyam. Let's see how many questions we can cover. We have lots of questions. How many questions we can cover in a short period of time? So please give short answers. Vandana, you get the first question. If AI becomes better than the average lawyer at research, drafting
Sorry,
strategy, and
can you please
prediction,
repeat? Sorry, I missed a bit. Can you please repeat?
yeah. If AI becomes better than the average lawyer at research, drafting strategy, and prediction, what exactly will lawyers do in 10 years?
Become better than AI.
Okay. Swati, India has 70 million pending cases. If AI cannot solve this problem, then what can? Can AI reduce India's pending cases from 70 million to 5 million within the next 10 years? And what exactly needs to happen for this goal to be achieved?
So let's be realistic. I think AI cannot in 10 years reduce 70 million to 5 million. Of course, I think courts are working towards it. We have to have more judges adopt AI more properly, but I don't think AI has a solve to reduce to eradicate the 70 million to 5 million for sure.
Okay. Satyam, should every judge in India have an AI assistant summarizing pleadings, precedents, contradictions, and likely outcomes?
I think AI has inherent issues in it because of the reliability. Fake judgments are cited when it interprets a document. Sometimes it leaves out the important points of that. Decision making in AI is based on data. Data sometimes is incomplete, and more so, there are even a lot of cybersecurity concerns, I feel, with AI because sometimes what is not pleaded may be picked up elsewhere, which is public information, or so to say. And therefore, certainly to make a concise summary, but not for the judge to depend on it. And I'm
Okay.
sorry, sir. And I apologize to everyone. There's a matter that is matured, so I'm going to have to drop out. My sincere apologies and wish
Use
everyone.
ChatGPT, Satyam.
Sir, I'm required
All
physically.
right.
So,
Next, thank you so much. Please join the Chandigarh board. Uh, okay. Ambuj, next question to you. Um, could AI finally make justice affordable for the poor and middle class of India?
Uh, I don't think AI is going to have that impact to make it affordable because ultimately the access to justice uh, is depending on the judges as well as the lawyers who are providing the services to the client. And AI, it's difficult that to make a statement that AI is going to replace the judges or the lawyers.
Okay, CJ.
I
Would
feel
Indians? Yeah.
I want to join what he said. I feel AI can reduce the cost of justice. You can get justice with by spending lesser than what we are spending at present. Uh, I have reasons for that. Maybe on some other occasion I can tell you the reasons, or if there is time, then I can.
Okay. So CJ, you get the next question. The next question is, would Indians trust an AI judge more than a corrupt or inefficient human system?
India has a tradition of trusting the DTs. So if an AI judge is presented to us, then I feel definitely Indians will trust the AI judge more than the actual real judges.
Okay. Vandana, could India become the first country in the world where AI judges handle small claims, traffic disputes, and routine matters?
I would say no, because we are far from having our own indigenous AI models,
I think August
AI
AI is also
servers,
coming
and
into picture.
everything else.
So
We are
there are
far,
different
far,
tools which
far
are
dependent on foreign
coming in
countries for
now
infrastructure,
because of
data,
the multiple
and AI
options.
models.
The price war is there.
But
That's a harsh
So
we
reality,
it
already
but this is how it is.
we
Yeah,
Swati.
already
yeah, yeah.
sorry for
TJ sir is saying
interruption.
something.
We
Yeah,
already
yeah.
have AI judges for small offenses. Traffic offenses are there. The moment you cut signal, the penalty is handed over. That's an AI
Yeah,
judge.
yeah, but that's
So,
that's a different scale. The scale at which Navneet had this question about.
No, I think
It's
he's
it's it's
talking
in
about
Pan
small
India.
offenses means these are all petty cases in which the challans are given. Earlier, such cases used to be handled by the Boiwada court magistrate in Dadar. Now, see, these cases are not taken up there.
I still see a problem because there is personal data involved. So Vandana
Mhm.
got reached a particular traffic signal in Ajni, Nagpur. It gives my location, it gives my vehicle number, it gives my timings at that square. Now extrapolate this to someone who is very critical as a person. So right now, no. The day we have starting our own infra and setup, yes.
But even
Swati.
otherwise, nobody can get hidden from the satellites. NASA satellite can see everybody.
Swati, next question. Which category of lawyers
Yes.
is in the greatest danger from AI? Junior associates or research lawyers or contract lawyers or litigators or paralegals or judges?
I think judges are still quite remote. All other categories do have a threat if they don't gear up and adopt AI. Because I'm not saying they'll get replaced, and it's not just AI. They have to also sharpen and hone their skills in terms of reading, knowing processes, understanding law. Reading is very, very important because you have to merge AI with the actual knowledge that you have. Like CJ very rightly said, that you have to have a reservoir of knowledge to actually implement artificial intelligence. So you will have to sharpen yourself up a lot to not get obsolete. Otherwise, it'll be the survival of the fittest.
Very good. Ambuj, next question. Are law schools preparing students for the future or preparing them for a profession that may no longer exist in its current form?
I think law schools are upskilling the curriculum which they have. It is very important for law students to also adapt and learn about the new technology, the AI. Obviously, the law school's duty is to teach the subject matter in detail, which they'll continue to do, because unless you read that thing, you can't give the right input to any technology or AI, as I earlier mentioned. So law schools are not actually going away from the traditional knowledge, but probably they are upskilling the curriculum which they currently have.
Perfect. CJ, you get the last question, and we almost end on time. Will future law firms, CJ, look more like technology company than traditional chambers?
Even at present, since the last 20 years, I can say law firms has been using office automation devices. And although the judiciary is a little behind when it comes to technology, law chambers have always been in the top notch when it comes to technology. Lawyers have been using uh, Blackberries from the last 20 years. So lawyers in India are always technologically very advanced, but the same is lacking with the judiciary, which has been shying away from all this.
Just to add to
Thank you. So,
CJ, sir,
yes, Swati.
that I think the prime example is that very senior advocates who are now 70 plus are, I think, the most tech savvy. You
Yes.
actually have to see how they are conducting their conferences, how they are arguing in court without paper. They are totally on, their iPads and liquid text. They have adopted so well. I think they are totally like, you don't need, earlier you needed 10 people around them, that all has gone, and I think they have adapted technology so efficiently. It's commendable.
How did that happen?
COVID. In
Oh,
COVID, they have worked the most, they have worked the hardest. Although people will say that they've made a lot of money, but they have worked in India, they have worked outside of India, done multiple hearings, and conducted conferences virtually, which was unheard of when we were 5 years ago. But I think they have adopted it so well. They are actually prime examples to the juniors to show that, see how people who never saw technology are so tech savvy today. The chambers also very tech savvy, very.
wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much,
Swati,
everyone.
even before COVID, lawyers had a fancy for all this gizmo.
Mm.
I have seen my
Yeah,
own seniors.
yeah. CJ, you're lucky you're in Mumbai, so everything happens at fast pace, and Mumbai adopts faster than almost anyone. Thank you so much, Shanti. Please send an invite to all of our participants. Please ask them to be on the ILA board of the city they're in. Thank you so much. Very intelligent, thought-provoking answers. Tells me that you actually did some work also thinking about all this. Unlike me. Um, I didn't do it today, but normally when we do these webinars, Shanti coordinates with them questions and the panelists argue, don't ask me this question, ask that question. And then Shanti sends me the names of the speakers and the questions, and I never look at that sheet. And but today I didn't do too much of that. Thank you so much. Thank you, Swati. Thank you, Ambush. Thank you, CJ. Thank you, Vandana. And thank you,
Thank you
Satyam.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
Thank you,
you.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Please stay
Have a nice
involved.
day ahead.
Come back, please.
Have a good
Thank
day.
you.
Sure.
Bye.
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 Thank you.